Minutes from the previous meeting, anybody have any additions or corrections? Larry?
No,
Brian?
No, no suggested changes.
Okay, the minutes will stand approved as presented. Ron, are you prepared to give the background or should we just move on?
We can move on.
Okay. Okay, benefit classifications. From prior board, generally speaking, my opinion is they look reasonable. However, I would like a little more time to go through them, or all three of us go through them, and before we make any hard, fast decisions on it. Brian, you got anything to add?
Well, I think the benefit classes should remain the same. They should remain the same numbers relative to what they did in the past. By ordinance, we have to have a 0 and we have to have 100% in each. And then it's just a matter of what falls between those. Currently, I think there's 3 classifications between those 2 numbers, and I think those are still relatively solid with this project and how they benefit each of the parcels. There might be a little bit of fine tuning as to the justification within each of those, but for the most part, I agree with what they did last time.
Any comments, Larry?
I don't have anything to disagree about.
Okay. Okay, we're gonna open it up for public testimony.
Hang on just a second. Do we want to go over the written comments that came in?
Oh, okay. Yeah, we got a couple of written comments.
You want me to do them?
Pardon?
You want me to do them?
One thing I wanted to say was publication of that mock assessment roll was premature. It's based on the old formula, which has no meaning at this point in time. We're talking about 2 new formulas, one for flood control and one for water quality. And the method used previously is very misleading, and it was really premature to publish it. Go ahead, Brian.
Okay, there was 2 comments that came in. One was from Kim, and she indicated that the 3 of us need to review together each of our assigned sectors and correct any disparities that may exist. And in reviewing the maps today and her examples that follow, it appears that there are some inconsistencies and some split parcels. I've reviewed most of the parcels that they indicated, and I agree with most of those, and we'll go into those in detail and make sure that those get corrected. There's another statement on a parcel 57345.9024, which I believe is up near the northeast corner of the lake on Muzzy Road. And they indicated that property has an easement across it where there's a dock and where boats are moored. And so I'm not sure what that exactly means, and perhaps Kim could expound on that, or if somebody else can, as to what's meant by having an easement in parcel .9024. And if that provides access to the Osprey Lane homes, that would make sense, but I think we need a little bit more discussion as to what is meant there. Let's see. I think there's two other parcels, 56104.9041 and 56156.0110 are split categories or benefit ratios, and those need to be corrected. And I agree with those, her comments there. They asked about the Attorney General opinion, and I don't believe we've heard anything, and I'm not sure if the attorney can find out where that sits or if that's going to be a long-term decision. We just don't know it at this point. There was a section of flood benefit map missing between Shadow Bay and Sutton Bay, and I think I mentioned that in the last meeting. And that's been since updated according to Jessica. And then looking at the maps that Mary Ann provided, that area is now on a map. So thank you, Kim, for those comments. Dennis provided comments. He's concerned about the absence of written criteria and guidelines that go along with the benefit ratio maps. And I think Gary laid it out tonight pretty well that, those criteria are not quite set yet. They're close, but they're not set, just like the maps are not set. So we reserve judgment on publishing those when the time is right. And he was assuming that the BOA has not gotten a ruling from the Attorney General on usage of taxable versus market, and that's correct. We have not. Previous practices where taxable and market values are inconsistently used on those affected parcels is a concern, and that should clear up. Whether or not we get an opinion from the Attorney General, because remember that part of the current use parcels that are approved with residences and other improvements, there's a part of that parcel that is assessed at market value. And our formula will make sure that it includes capturing those improvements such as homes and the waterfront lot portion as market value, and that does not need an opinion from the Attorney General. That's just a factor of the county getting with the assessor and getting that value extracted out from these parcels.
The only portion of waiting on an opinion of the Attorney General for is those that are in forestry reserve or senior citizen exemptions, those kinds of things. But and the Attorney General may not agree with me. In my mind, these assessments are tantamount to an LID assessment. An LID assessment is based on market value. It doesn't matter whether it's forest reserve or whether it's senior citizen exemption. That only applies to ad valorem taxes. But the Attorney General may disagree with me. He's too interested in abortion now, and he can't really think of too much else. Oh, he's also excited about the 10-round magazines and handguns.
Dennis goes on to say he's concerned about 49 remaining split parcels and split classifications. We agree that there are some instances where that was overlooked, and we will be looking into those to make sure that they're classified appropriately. He's concerned about an overall view of the composite classification map. And it makes no sense to him and is visibly inconsistent. And I guess what we can say to him is that, you know, we're not done with this process. It's still taking time, and it may take a few more iterations for us to get through. But do know that the scale that some of these maps are drawn at are very difficult for us to see the lines. Working on Zoom makes it more difficult, and time constraints make it difficult, along with parcels that may have multiple components and they're not shown on the map as such. Only some are, and some are coming out, and we're finding out about them now, and that's why we're going through this process, is to be consistent and to make it correct. So we're still working on it. By no means are these maps final. He brings up a point on relative value versus area. I think we've commented on this many times. We are not recommending a calculation based on area. It's going to be based on value. So that's the path we're heading down.
That's actually something we don't have any choice over.
The other comments I'm not even going to respond to. So that's it for comments.
Okay. As Brian indicated, the maps that have been published are preliminary, and a rough draft. And that's one of the reasons that we're meeting in the evening, is to give more people the opportunity to give us input. And again, this is not going to be a question and answer session. It's going to be public testimony where you can help us correct anything you see wrong on these draft maps as to the assessment areas or ratios or whatever. And would appreciate it when you take the floor to talk to us. If you could give us your assessor's parcel number, that would be quite helpful. And with that,
Do you want to have them keep it brief, or keep it brief? You want to set a time?
yeah, let's try to keep these brief, maybe about 2 or 3 minutes each. Should cover it. With that, again, I want to emphasize it's not a question and answer thing. We're here as a listening audience to hear what your concerns are. With that, let's go to our first speaker, Jessica. Go right ahead.
Actually,
Yeah, if you'd like to give testimony, please raise your hand. Press *9 for on the phone.
Jessica, are you there?
Can you hear me?
with the county.
Oh, I'm
I
sorry.
can hear.
Doyle Anderson? You with the county too? He's the
with the
attorney.
county. He's with the county.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Do we have anybody run?
Not seeing anyone raise their hand. Again, if you'd like to provide testimony, please use the raise hand function or press *9 if you're on the phone.
Dennis, go right ahead. You got the floor.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate your brief synopsis, and I think the answer to most of my questions is simply the fact that the draft documents were sent out prematurely. So I'm happy with that. Keep plugging, guys. You're doing a good job. Thanks again.
Thank you. Bill Anderson must be the attorney.
Hello?
Hello, Anita.
Hi. I have a parcel number 57356.9012. And it is assessed, it's in the yellow, and it says it's at 30% for water benefit or for the water quality benefit. And I don't understand, I have no access to the lake. And so I just don't understand why there's a water quality benefit for that.
They're not gonna answer.
And how do I get, I can't ask a question, but how do I get a response to find out the reasoning behind that?
We'll be responding later after we've had a chance to look up some of these things.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, that's the parcel number that I'm questioning.
Okay.
And I have another family here that's on the Zoom with me. Can they can I raise my hand again for them to speak
Sure. Go ahead.
later?
Yeah, just keep speaking. Sure.
Oh, okay.
Hi, my name's Loretta. And my parcel number is 57341.9027. And my parcel was assessed at 30%. And I too, for water quality, not flood. And I too do not understand the classifications. So I guess I'll have to wait when you publish that. But someone said that from your last meeting that if we had access to a county road, that we were going to be assessed water quality. And I don't understand that at all. And I don't understand, if you don't have access to the lake, why, I mean, it's not a water view, or it's not a water access, or it's not water frontage. So I don't know, I mean, my parcel isn't. And so I'm not sure why I'm being assessed water quality. Now, are you going to, oh, I can't ask a question. So I mean, that's what I'm wondering. I don't understand the classification, I guess.
Okay, I'll respond to a part of that is that the benefit classifications that were published. I assume they're on the website. Would pretty much explain the water quality situation. Your 30%.
On both of those, actually.
Yeah, on both of those, both just.
Okay. Okay, that would be great.
Yeah, it will be, ultimately, it'll be in our findings at the end.
At the end of this meet? Oh,
At the end of the process.
okay.
So is that after your decisions are final?
Well, we are only recommending to the county commissioners. And my understanding is that once they get our report, they will be holding a public hearing.
Oh, okay. All right, thank you.
Appreciate
Well,
it.
it's important to get the feedback. And it's nice to understand that there's some questions about that and that we need to be a little bit more explicit and be better at explaining some of those issues.
Okay, that would be appreciated too. Thank you.
Chantel, go ahead.
Thank you. Good evening. Parcel number 5733.9007. So,
Yeah,
and I understand you're going to give us more detail on why you assessed the benefit of yellow or whatever color or percentages or whatnot. But
yeah,
one
can you repeat that parcel number a little slower?
it's 0.9007. Is that what you're at? 5733.9007.
Okay, thank you.
Not on the water. But you did change the water quality benefit class on that parcel on the draft. But my question is, so if you're saying that that's water quality, I am curious, when you give your answer, what you're using to evaluate, because I did notice some other parcels on the other side of the lake, for example, 56044.9050 and 560919013 did not get assessed water quality, but they would be similar to these other parcels that did get assessed water quality on the other side of the road. They're also on the other side of the road of the water.
Can you repeat those two?
Yes.
Just slowly, please.
Okay. 56044.9050
Okay,
and then 56091.9013.
okay.
And then
Yeah, we'll take a look at those and make sure that they're consistent and they meet our criteria.
and there may be others. Those were just the ones I noticed. And then I'm just curious what metrics or matrix you're using to determine the benefit, since, especially for flood. I mean, since some of these parcels are not even in the floodplain that you assessed flood benefits.
Okay,
That was one comment. And then also I'd like to comment on that. You commented on our family parcel on 57345.9024 for easements on the Osprey parcels. They
correct.
do not have an easement through our parcel. They have easements through 57341.9022.
57341.
0.9022,
Okay,
I believe, but they are not easements on our parcels.
okay, and thank you for that clarification. That helps, and
Okay.
perhaps Kim can shed more light on that comment.
Yeah, and I believe that's the one they have it. I mean, they'd have to pull the deed, obviously, but
Right, okay. Thank you, Chantel.
yes, that's all.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do you know if the old maps are still up? So they can look at the old maps and see if it's been changed?
No, I don't know.
I don't-
Jessica, do you know?
The old maps are not up, however, the assessment roll, the previous assessment roll is still up so they can compare if their classifications were changed.
Okay.
I'm not seeing anyone else willing or wanting to testify.
Ron, how many people are listening in?
We have 6 in the audience.
6, and 4 of them have spoke. Do the other 2 want?
Yeah. Yeah. Chantel, do you have something to add?
Right. Just actually question. I hope it's easy. It's more on the benefit assessments. I noticed it was for 2022. So will these be assessed for 2022 or 2023? Because we already paid our taxes for half of 2022.
I believe that's up.
Assessors, we don't know.
It would be
Okay.
it would be for 23.
Okay. I just noticed it was on 2022 rent rolls.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Earlier, Chantel, that assessment roll was published prematurely. It should not have been put out there using an erroneous formula that doesn't comply with what we're doing.
I see. I understood. Thank you.
Just a comment in general, I believe, don't quote me on this, but I believe that once these things are final and the calculations are made, the assessments are going to lag behind the actual year of the calculation. So for example, 2022 values would be used to calculate the value for the 2023 assessments. But I think it's going to lag a year behind. I think that's the way that normal assessments work, is that they lag a year behind. So.
Juanita, you want to speak again?
Yeah. I just got an email from my brother. He's not able to get on. Is it possible that I can give you his parcel numbers with his question as well?
Certainly. What's his name?
His name's Alvin Balcom,
Falcon?
Balcom.
Okay, go right ahead.
And his parcel numbers are, oh gosh, I'm not sure exactly how to describe where they are, but they're,
Just do the one on East Newman Lake Drive, the one over here on the flood. That was assessed for the flood.
let's see. This one was assessed for flood and water, both of them, water quality and flood, and it's 56031.9001. And it does not appear to be in the flood plain. And the lake would have to get mighty high for it to flood.
50 feet or 100 feet.
Yeah, probably 50 feet or more. And the water quality also, there's no access to the lake on that parcel. And then he has some small parcels, or tiny little parcels up at the top of the hill on East Newman Lake Drive. And those are, gosh, I don't know, how many feet would you think above the lake? 100 feet above the lake. And there are other parcels that belong to other people in that little area too. And they are being assessed, I believe, flood quality and water quality. And I'll give you those parcels as well, so you could look at those. They are 56031.9001. Just gonna make sure I can give you the same one. I just gave you the same one. Sorry, cross that one off. That was for the other, the first one, I'm sorry. Okay, the second one is 57344.0114 and 57344.0115, 57344.0122, and 57344.0123. They're really small parcels, but do not touch the lake, and they're extremely high above the lake. Again, not sure
They're
how,
on the top of Mussy Hill.
I'm not sure how they are getting assessed for flood and water quality.
They're not being assessed for flood.
It says here on the roll they are.
As I told you earlier, do not look at that roll.
Oh, okay.
Prematurely published. and does not reflect what we want to do.
Okay. And then do we not, the colors on the map also indicate that they're being assessed flood and water quality? Do we
Map,
go for the colors on the map?
map I'm looking at does not show flood control on any of those.
On the map I'm looking at, it's in a red.
Pink.
It's a reddish pink. No, flood control is, I'm looking at it in flood control and it's kind of a reddish brown and it says 10% for those little parcels in there on the map.
So 10% means you're 90% not assessed. So that's a parcel for which there is presumably very little benefit would accrue to that parcel.
But it's being even 10% for flood and they're like 100 feet above the lake. There's absolutely no way those parcels will flood, the little tiny ones. Oh,
Okay, we will take a look at them, Juanita. Thank you.
okay, okay.
Thank you for our attention.
Flood in Spokane before they-
Rick, go right ahead.
Yes, thanks. So one of the points I wanted to make is, and I think in one of the early meetings that we had, there was a discussion about all the land that slopes towards Newman Lake can affect water quality, especially if they're in an area that we're close to a creek, as an example. But we even talked about, I think timberlands could have some responsibility for water quality at Newman Lake.
Okay, initially, we had talked about causation. However, in getting into the statutes a little deeper, it's something that beyond our control. We were only looking at benefits.
Yes, I do remember that. That's a good point. Thank you.
I'm not seeing anyone else raising their hand.
Why don't we take about a 10-minute break and see if anybody else shows up? Do we have anyone else with their hands up?
I don't see anyone. I don't think anyone new joined over the pause.
Let's give it a couple more minutes, and if not, we'll wrap it up.
Sounds good.
I found it.
Is the, Are you trying to think of Petaluma?
No,
Petaluma is
Okay.
up north.
Just my guess. It's south of Santa Rosa.
Yep. Not too, it's fairly close. Across the bridge,
north of
the
the,
Golden Gate Bridge.
yeah, Golden Gate Bridge, north of the bridge.
Well, the Mill Valley is down there.
That's at Mill Valley.
Oh, Sausalito?
Mill Valley.
Okay.
My youngest son used to live there.
Oh. My grandson has practice in Mill Valley on a basketball team he's on. It's, I don't know, 60 miles away, maybe.
It's been 30 years since he lived there, and I was down to see him. Anyway. Well, Ron, I think we've exhausted everything, and thank you for your help. Have a good night, and we're adjourned.
All right, thanks, guys.
Hey, thank
Later.
you.